Perhaps we should all marvel at how Marvel is changing course while Lucasfilm doubles down. But what is the root of all this? Why is it that superheroes suddenly don't want to be fatigued, yet a galaxy far, far away is intrigued by the idea of going places no franchise has ever been before? As in, more woke than any franchise has been before. Well, we've got someone who just might know the answer, and we'll dive in today's video right now. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the place that is happy. We're as happy as when Bing Crosby danced with Danny Kaye, and you know the reference. Folks, there's a reverence right now inside Marvel for making money. Who would have ever thought? Lucasfilm, not quite so. And there might be a reason for that. You might have heard some of this. There's been quite a bit of buzz based on this story over on thatparkplace.com, but this is where it all started, right here on this channel. And we're going to bring to you what was said with Chris Gore when he opened the door to what exactly is going on with the head of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. It is an insight that you just have to hear. And you know what? We will not hold you any longer. Let's get to Chris right now. So I want to show everybody this, though, because this is where we are with desperation. This is what desperation looks like. This is out of fictionhorizon.com, and it's been promulgated throughout the internet. IMDb is covering it, for example. It's 3 days old, but they're really trying to prop this up. Lucasfilm is planning a surprising Star Wars announcement at the D23 convention next week. Now, this is essentially just an article to promote what Lucasfilm is going to be doing at D23. They can't basically say that Marvel's going to be doing something surprising because that already happened at San Diego Comic-Con. So I want to show you, okay, we're going to skip through all this because there's no actual news in here, except for here's what, if you pay all this money for D23, you're getting with Star Wars. You get ILM Stagecraft, a galaxy of innovation. I have no idea what that is. Lego Star Wars, Rebuild a Galaxy. I guess you're going to play with Legos. Creatures and droids with legacy effects. They are. That's exactly right.
That actually sounds interesting, but it's not very Star Wars Pro. I just need to make sure you're paying attention to the private chat.
Oh, please take over for just a moment, Jonas, while I read the private chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures Nubs Meet and Greet. I couldn't tell you whether or not that this show is actually a hit with kids right now. This is the Disney Junior version of Star Wars, and it is, of course, something that deserves its own episode of Everything Woke. Here's a few items. See, these are the things that we have. Right, three items that.
Hold up, Jonas. You've helped me out, and you don't have to keep going. Thank you for letting me know what's going on, folks. We've got a special guest coming in to talk about D23, and apologies, Jonas, on interrupting, but I think you know why. Yeah. Please welcome to the stage, folks, from Film Threat. You know him, you love him. He's been around forever, and he continues to get better and better. It is Chris Gore. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. What's going on?
Chris, we're going through just the stuff that is supposed to be coming to the D23 convention from Star Wars, and what's listed out is not very impressive. We've been going through what is listed out for the full schedule for the other for the big stages, of course. And we're struggling to see what Disney is doing. Culture has put out there that he thinks maybe Disney is spread a little thin here because they've had San Diego Comic-Con where they had to make a big announcement. They've got their earnings call tomorrow where surely they'll want to make some kind of announcement, especially given what's been going on with the stock. Then they're going to try and do D23, and they may just not have enough to muster up a big kind of, shocker for the industry. What are you expecting at D23? And tell the folks out there what kind of coverage you're going to be providing.
Well, not much. Alan Ing and I will be there live from the floor, and we'll be reporting there all weekend. So it's kind of splitting it up, but it doesn't look like much. I feel like Marvel blew their wad at Hall H at Comic-Con. I was there. Gary from Nerdrotic was there. Gary under attack. I see.
So ridiculous.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, it's
by a nobody made into a somebody. And I don't mean to call him a nobody because he was unknown. I just mean he had no followers until he did that, and something happened. I don't know how that post even gained traction, but it did.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, I tend to ignore that stuff because for years, I mean, before the internet, I was a target a lot with Film Threat in back in the day. But so I ignore it. But that one was pretty weird. As for Disney, I'm just. What do they really have of Star Wars that we don't know about? There's a Rey movie coming, maybe. There's Grogu and the Mandalorian movie. I mean, there hasn't been a movie from Lucasfilm in 5 years, and that may extend. I don't know what, based on what we have coming. I mean, I think Star Wars is lost. It feels lost to me.
Chris, what do you make of the rumor? What do you make of the rumor that Manny Jacinto might be there to soft announce a season 2 of The Acolyte?
Well, he's there to do an appearance because I think he was the best thing to come out of that show. I mean, he was really good in spite of the terrible writing. He created an interesting character people like. But as for what they have, I don't know. I mean, if you were going to announce, since they weren't at Comic-Con, I mean, I was there on the floor every day. I spotted only one Acolyte cosplay, and it was The Stranger. That was it. Lucasfilm had a booth with all the costumes.
So you saw a naked man, is what you're saying.
Effectively, in a row.
All right, well, nudist alert.
But I didn't see any other Acolyte cosplay, not one. And there wasn't a lot of excitement at that booth, I mean, it was pointed out to me recently that, with every movie or whatever, they would do a game. There was a Revenge of the Sith video game. There's not been a video game based on a property, like a filmed property, in a long time. It's this, this outlaw thing that looks terrible. And but I'm told that the big panels will be on Disney Plus.
Yeah, so that takes away the incentive. So okay, so let's target in on that, Chris.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you want to talk about the expenses that you've incurred, but in a general sense, do you want to talk about, like, if for a regular generic fan who wants to go to D23 versus sit on their couch and watch it on Disney Plus, what kind of money are we talking about to get to go and attend this and find out about Lego Star Wars?
Well, I've been. And I have been a paying customer to go to D23 in the past. It is prohibitively expensive. Not to mention they have these stores, these shops that they put up, and they sell exclusives. You can only get it at the con. The lines for those are minimum 2 to 3 hour waits. Crazy. So you'll spend half your day waiting to get stuff at the store, at the shop. You can only get there. Everything is overpriced. Everything. So my guess is they'll make it available in a window. Have you seen on Disney Plus quietly what they've done for all their shows? Have you?
Yes.
They have a tab that says shop. You can buy things. So my suspicion is the D23.
So I didn't know that, Chris, but that confirms a rumor we did like a year ago. So I'm hearing about that for the first time. That's Jonas will have to do a video now, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a tab that says shop. Crazy. So my suspicion is they will do D23 coverage with a limited time, only this weekend, get these exclusives, but you're not at the con itself. Now I'm going to check it out for one day, and then I'm handing off my coverage to Alan. They only approved our outlet for one batch.
Well, you did listen, Chris. You did a Star Wars funeral. I mean, you're not a VIP in their eyes anymore, I would say.
I need to point out a couple of things.
More funerals there, but there's not. I don't know what the advantage is to attending if they're televising the big events. What's the point? So
right.
There are two things that I want to point out, and we'll be talking about this more on the That Park Place channel here. But some of the shops are now being put on virtual queue, which, of course, if anybody is familiar with the parks right now, you know how popular virtual queue is. So adding it to this very expensive paid con here, I'm sure that people are going to love that. Also, we're hearing that people that like Jim Hill, who's been covering the Disney company for, I want to say 40 years or something like that. He's being denied press credentials for this event. So there are a lot of weird things going on with this event. I don't want to say they're completely anti-consumer. they're the most consumerist company out there.
He's said some things that were somewhat, maybe a little bit critical of Disney, and Disney is not going to hand out credentials to anybody anymore. Is that anything?
We probably shouldn't tell them who Chris is then. We should probably
please don't. So real quick, I think it's sad kind of where we are with I used to love this, and my favorite part of D23, which is the old just the old Disney vets, right? The Imagineers, and they would do a panel with them, and they didn't give an F. They didn't care. They would tell stories about when they opened the monorail and Nixon, or it wasn't Nixon.
It was Nixon was vice president.
Yeah, they tell these stories. They tell stories about Walt. They all admired and revered Walt. But these guys were really old with no filters, and you could tell by the things they didn't say that they don't like the current direction of Disney. So my favorite part of D23 was the waxing on all the old Disney attractions and how they were created and what Walt's vision was. That is gone. It is all corporate. It's super corporate and controlled in terms of the messaging. It's as efficient as our current administration in the White House about how they want things to be perceived, not how they are, how they want you to perceive things. So any Lucasfilm announcements, what more can they announce? Can they announce more things that won't happen or will be brushed under the rug? Like the Kevin Feige Star Wars film. I know a little something about that I might be able to share at some point. What went awry, but I can't talk about it right now.
Well, let me ask you about something you might not also be able to talk about just yet, Chris. But I'll find out, and you just push back if you can't. We've been hearing lately that Kathleen Kennedy is not very hands-on with Star Wars at this point. I know you've got your sources. Are you hearing anything similar that she may be operating sort of in title only, at least for now?
Yes, but there's more to it. How do I say
dot. Bum.
She wants to retire and leave, but she wants to do that on a win.
Oh no!
Oh no! Everyone just needs to go watch whatever the next movie is, just so we can get rid of her.
All of a sudden,
30 years later.
The idea being, she has a huge hit and announces her, "I'm retiring." She goes out with a big movie that's a smash success. She might have done that during Indiana Jones, right? But
she died.
Right. So because everything has objectively failed, I mean, the acolyte numbers are insanely bad. You've dug into that. So she's waiting to go out on a big win, and she hasn't had one. And
so, Chris, you say we all just need to pretend that we love the Skeleton Crew.
That's what I was going to say. We're going to have to promote the Skeleton Crew like you've never seen before.
Yes, please do. But no, it's very sad, the state of Star Wars. And it's been reported, geez, I've been saying this for over a month. Then I say the same thing I've been saying for a month on Drinker's Show. And suddenly I see myself in articles, and then YouTubers I know doing articles of a thing I said on another show when they can just talk to me like you guys are talking to me now.
Yeah, that's been a funny little ecosystem to observe. Yes.
Yeah, it's like a weird, what? But whatever, it's fine. I don't care. But I'm only repeating things I've heard. It's like, we'll see if Chris is. Hey, someone told me, I'm repeating it to you. I believe what you want. I don't know, but
as long as they spell your name right.
I don't care. I feel like more people just watch my channel.
Chris, what are the odds? Channels. What are the odds that somebody at Disney thought you were Film Thread, and that's how you got your credentials to tell you were an acolyte fan site?
Thank God. I would love that, Film Thread. I've had that. I get mail wrong to that, using that name sometimes. But yeah, no. So Alan and I will be there. We're doing live from the floor, which is kind of fun if you're into the merch and stuff. They did one of my favorite years I was there. The Pixar booth had a collection of all of John Lasseter's Hawaiian shirts. It was a huge collection.
Wow.
This is years ago, folks. Years and years ago.
like it's Batman suits.
I've been going to D23 a long time, but it's not the must attend like Comic-Con is or some others. It's not really important. And the fact that they are controlling it, they can't control necessarily Comic-Con, right? So they do this at their own event. But they used to make it really accessible, and now it's insane the hoops you have to jump through just to get there. But I'm not sure what could they announce related to Star Wars that wouldn't be. If they announce Han, Luke, and Leia were going to reunite in a movie, that would be great using AI. Sure, whatever at this point. But the hotel failed. The Acolyte failed. There hasn't been a Star Wars movie in 5 years. Star Wars is littered with failures. Now,
folks, we've come to the end. Oh, how sad it is to say goodbye, but do not worry. For folks, a new video is nigh every single day, 3 times a day, because the news never stops, and neither do we. Folks, on the way out your door, consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment right on down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, make sure that you subscribe to our partner channels out there. That Park Place, That Game Place, That Pod Place. And you know what? Go subscribe to Film Threat with Chris Gore as well. They're doing fantastic work. The D-Files, the Star Wars Funeral, now this, and there's so much more. All right, we bid you adieu. But folks, until we see you again anew, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.